with easing the pain. This voice inside my head isn't dead, I think it's growing. Soon we will be one and the same. I've been going to the racetrack, spent all our money on the dog in the bed. I put my heart into an 8-track cowbell there. My life was perfect, now it's starting to crack. Oh no.
Welcome to the first round of the E-BaTCC 2026 Championship. We're at the end of the qualifying session. It's Zyken at the top of the leaderboard, leads by 0.03 of a second. Big slide out of the hairpin. It is our first round of the championship, and we go to the not yet built, but soon to be built Lithuanian Motorsport Park. The season will then continue on to Bikerniek in Latvia, then it's the Porsche Ring in Estonia, and the season finishes back in Lithuania with the Nemuno Žiedas circuit. A new season, an updated car for the championship, the new BMW 330i, the one used in the BATCC BMW Turbo Cup, and big prizes as well for the winners of the championship. It's the for first, it's a BMW Turbo race car experience and €100 in prize money, also a virtual trophy on their World Sim Series profile. Second place gets a BMW Turbo Cup car race experience and €60 in prize money, and third place also gets a BMW Turbo Cup race car experience and €40 in prize money. So big prizes on offer, and Zyken still at the top of this qualifying session. We'll have two races tonight, two races of 20 minutes. Second race, we have the top 10 drivers reversed, and I'm joined as always by Lodinas.
Hi Gustas, hello everyone, welcome to this E-BaTCC season 2026. I've actually lost count which season it is already. I think that should be the 7th season if I'm not mistaken. The first season took place during the COVID period, which was in 2020, and wow, time flies. This is going to be the second season, the second virtual season for the BMW Turbo Cup class, which was brand new 1 year ago, and the BMW debuted in the virtual championship 1 year ago. This time, after 1 year, we've gathered plenty of data, and the virtual car has been updated to the current standards. So the drivers that are participating in this virtual championship are driving basically virtual copies of the real car. Nice participation. We've got 2 divisions running, and the drivers are trying their best to compete for the prizes that Gustas just mentioned. Lig Racing division, as usual, offers nice and great experience prizes for the winners of this event. 4 rounds in total, 8 races, 20 minutes each long. The second race will see top 10 drivers in a reversed order, so wait for the second race. We usually have plenty of action and plenty of drama then. And we first have to finish this qualifying session with our provisional pole sitter Zyken already in the pit lane, driver from Estonia. Another car just came to a halt. That was Tadas Juknevičius. He's not going faster. Kuts is going faster, but he has got company in front, and I wonder if that's gonna hurt his performance. Just 1 corner to go in this yet-to-be-opened circuit, Lithuanian Motorsport Park, as Kuts crosses the line and takes us to the garage.
There wasn't even an improvement on that lap. You saw him go wide at that penultimate corner. So, qualifying results, it's Zyken ahead of Juknevičius, Kuts, Talianos, Šadeikis in P5. Pozniakov in P6, Jofert in P7, Mishkanis in 8th, 9th for Skaistkalns, Sendersky in 10th, 11th only for Simon Spev, 12th only for Matas Mendelis, then Malkauskas, Kirsis, Svetens, Narbutas, Rekus, Straupe, Gavars, Asp, Edukas, Srubas, Thompsons, Halonen, and Roga in 25th position. Gaps from the lead to the last car on the grid are just over 2 seconds actually. So not that huge of a difference. Top 4 separated by under 2/10 still. So looking good for our race. Obviously that run down into turn 1 will be also important. It's proved to be a difficult circuit to pass on. So definitely drivers will try and get as much out of that first lap as possible. Sometimes that leads to incidents. We saw when we had the opening race for this circuit, cars upside down even. Let's hope that today it will be a little bit cleaner than that, but we still want drama. We still want...
I don't know, 25 BMWs on the grid. One can hope for a clean race, but we'll see what it brings. That's going to be the first 20 minutes of the 2026 E-BaTCC Championship. And hold your breath as we are ready to go.
20 minutes on the clock as the lights come on for the 2026 season to get underway. Jump start for somebody.
It's Zykin. That's pole sitter.
Oh. Pole sitter gets a jump start penalty. That's going to ruin his race. A little bit of contact for Italianos coming down into turn 1. Now everybody needs to be aware of Zykin having that penalty. Yuknavicius for sure is. I don't think he'll try anything crazy as Talianos trying to go down the inside of Kuts, which turns to the outside, and that will turn to the inside once again for the double left. And I think Talianos was down. Nope, I thought he was down the inside. That was actually Radikis putting pressure on Talianos. Many position switches behind. Spef now up into P10. Mishkanis in 9th. A little bit of contact coming into this S section. This is the battle for P8.
Yeah, for P8 between 3 cars. Mishkalis just trying to hold on in this battle with Spef. Nice side-by-side racing action. We didn't have this too much with the opening round of the Lithuanian Motorsports Park. We then drove the Porsche Cup cars. Oh, a contact between Mishkalis and Speth. These BMWs are much more precise when the drivers want to go side-by-side on a very technical circuit like the new upcoming Motorsports Park in Lithuania. Mishkalis tries to and manages to stay ahead of Speth. That's Jofert and Jadekis again. Remember, Jofert won P3 or P2. Well, I cannot remember which place he won, but he definitely was there to test out the BMW G20 car, and he's back for more. Definitely enjoyed the experience. And I'm pretty sure he knows what he's racing for as Zykin into the pit lane. No, Zykin's still staying ahead, but
stayed out, and he'll stay out, I think, as long as he can. I believe he's got 2 crosses of the timing line. Here's Mendelis battle for 12, and it's getting packed up. Contact next to him as Mendelis goes up into 12. There was contact with the cars next to him. I think that was Rekus and somebody else.
Yeah, hard to tell. We've got 25 drivers and we don't see all the results on the screen, so sometimes with these cars running so close to each other, it's definitely hard to tell which car is which.
Spinner behind, and who was that? I think that was Malakauskas going around. It was, and goes down to last place. Now for Zykin, he's trying to pull out as big of a gap as he can before he goes down onto pit road to serve that drive-through penalty.
Looking at the gaps, I don't know how much big of a gap he'll be able to pull out. Such a similar pace by all the drivers, especially when they're in the battle. Look, the biggest gaps we have here is 1.2 seconds as Zykin goes into the pit lane.
I thought he had another lap in it, but he goes down into the pits. That should bring him out. Well, he's going to hope he's at least not going to be last. There was a gap in the track. Well, it's a small gap, but from 11th to 12th between Mendelis and Kirchis it was. And actually, Zaikin comes back out 13th. So he was very, very close to that gap. I think if he would have stayed out just one more lap, he would have actually gotten into it. That would have been the best scenario here.
Yeah.
For him now, it's all about P10. If he can get up to P10, that would be great for him, as that's where that reverse grid starts from.
Yeah, pole position, it's usually that matters quite a lot in races like these. And then Zaikin would have a lot of chances to win at least the second race. And I think he'll do it. The pace that he has, if he avoids mistakes, he has quite high chances to start the second race from the first rows to try and fix his jump start situation. We had two drivers with a jump start. This is the second driver who made that mistake. That's not about us. So sometimes we have this bug with Assetto Corsa when the drivers are waiting for the lights to come, for the virtual lights to come up, and they never show up. So maybe that was the case for a couple of drivers, and both of the drivers took the drive-through penalty on the same lap. So, well, regarding the regulations, they should have 3 laps, and that's what any driver would aim for in close races like these, just to have that bigger gap or come a little bit higher up the order when you complete the penalty. But maybe the system gives the drivers 2 laps and they have to pit in third, or maybe nobody knows the rules exactly and they don't want to risk of disqualification. But seeing 2 drivers receiving a penalty and serving them at the same lap suggests me maybe that's a rule, something with the rules that we have on a C platform. A couple of battles, a couple of close battles, plenty of close battles throughout the field. Still some cars a little bit closer to each other. Well, the Lithuanian Motorsport Park, it's definitely a very technical racetrack, and to be in close battles means avoiding mistakes of understeer. When you're in a tight pack, these long sweeping corners require plenty of front grip, and even though these cars are low aero cars, they still need a little bit of perfect air to drive through the corners as they are intended to. That's a battle for P6. Skaistkalns is currently 7th, battling with Pozdnyakov. Žadeikis a little bit further in front, trying to keep up with Joe Furt. Someone just outbraked themselves. That's Simon Speth going a little bit too deep into the penultimate corner, a very tricky corner where drivers aim to exit that corner as close to the left side as possible to have a full throttle possibility through the last corner. And this is a track which is coming onto the real surface in Lithuania. The drivers who will put in plenty of virtual lap times will definitely get to speed a little bit faster. And this is definitely a nice space for the drivers to prepare themselves for what should be races in real world.
Zaikin, by the way, I'm just looking at lap times. He's not moving as quickly as maybe he'd hope. He's only gained about 0.2 of a second to the car ahead. So it's looking difficult for him because he's got 2 cars ahead of him. That's Svetins and Mendelis, and then there's about a 2-second gap to Kirsis in front. For him, not finishing 10th or higher is the worst case scenario here, because he'd have to fight his way back up the field just like the leaders. So for him, 10th has to be a real target right now. Struggling to find that pace, which is strange because when he was up in front, he was untouchable. Juknavich just couldn't catch up to him. Obviously, I guess he was holding back at least a little bit, knowing that the car ahead has a penalty. but still, leaders running 36.5. Let's see what Zykin can do on this lap.
Yep, he's into 36s.
36.9. Yep, so still 4/10 off what the race leader is able to do, which is a bit surprising, considering his pace before. Here's the battle for 4th place. That's Jofert up in front, then Žadikis, and then Pozniakov. Žadikis goes to the inside. A little bit of contact that turns to the outside. This might be a freebie for Pozniakov, who's going to be on the inside for the hairpin. And nope, gets cut off by Jofert, but that's still 1 position gain. Can he find another one into the next braking zone? Jofert goes defensive very, very early, and they might even come in free wide into that next braking zone. Cars behind as well, wanting to capitalize on this. A little bit of contact, a push in the back saying, don't do that again. And actually, they've stayed in position somehow. Through all of that. No, Žadikis dropped the position down to 7th because Skeistkans has, well, he's side by side here for P6 and putting pressure on. Battles behind as well. Good news for Zykin this is. As Žadikis still under pressure, outbraked himself just that little bit, and he's now lost the back. Well, he's not really lost the back, but he's dropped at least a little bit of time to the car's head. Less slipstream down the front straightaway, but it really isn't that easy of a passing zone into here. All about keeping it clean, preparing yourself for the next few corners. That's where you can really try and make a move. You can try it into the chicane if you're super brave and the car head has a bad exit. Then that double left-hander, a good overtaking spot for sure. So here's Zykin. He's got Mendelis and Svetens in that battle in front. This is for 11th, but they're catching up to that pack in front, which is the battle for 4th, which goes from 4th all the way down to 10th. So a nice gaggle of cars. Late block there from Mendelis, I think. That was. The battle continues on here. Skeistkans with Meshkalis side by side. Zykin goes to the inside, but can't do it as a little bit of contact, I think, there on the exit. This battle still continuing on as well. Meshkalis versus Skeistkans, and they've got those 3 cars in front running away from them, so they have to sort out their positions. 8 minutes, 40 seconds to go in this first race of the afternoon. Goes to the inside and gets that position up into P7 as Skeistkans now side by side with Spef as well. But he's dropping positions. He was up to P6 at one point. Now back down to P8 and still under pressure from the cars behind. I think Zykin's gone up a position.
Nope.
That's what it looked like. Nope. Oh, I thought he was the black car. Okay. So still behind and struggling to get past. That looked a little bit like a corner cut. Let's see if he can find a way past into the double left. The clock's ticking for him. I'm sure he can see the cars ahead, but he's got to get a move on. It's clear that it's not easy to overtake around here. Has to find those spots. Needs to start moving forward. Good opportunity for Mendelis as well. If he can catch up just that little bit more to the back of that pack, he can try and pull in a move. Both of them wide in the braking zone, pretty much bump drafting him all the way around the corner. And he might try a move into this hairpin here. I'm sure he will. He's right up to the back bumper, and nope, gets the chop and can't do anything. Pozniakov going to the inside. He's going to take that position from Jofert, at least for now. They're going to run side by side down into the penultimate corner. Inside, obviously the preferred line into here, unless you can hold on around the outside and take it to the inside into the final turn, but that's going to be difficult to do. A little bit of contact on the apex, and I think Pozniakov just about has that position. He does, and goes in front into the final corner. Now he's going to have to defend down this straightaway. actually, it's more an issue for Jofert, who's under pressure from Radekis as everybody fans out down into turn 1.
Yeah,
Radekis puts in
Zykin is up to
pressure.
12th. He managed to overtake Svetins, and he's now chasing down Mendelis, who is catching up with this group of cars. When they are battling each other, they are definitely going slightly slower. Oh, someone sideways. I think that was Skaistkaun's. He's already under pressure from Mendelis from behind. This is the battle for pole position. Juknavicius has a nice gap up in front, and he's looking for that first win in the opening race. But this is the battle for pole position, which definitely matters because we've seen plenty of times that the drivers who finish 10th in the provisional pole position, they do really well in the second race. Zykin is already all over the tail of Svetins. This is a very nice battle. Battles all over the track. Radek is very close to the back end of Jofert. Still, this is Zykin going for a late move. Nice move, like the drivers driving karts, they don't hesitate to make those moves, and I don't see any other way to make those moves stick. Svetins tries to hold on to that position. He's going to hold the inside line for the penultimate corner, which might give him an edge, though we have a very wide and a couple of line possibility in the penultimate corner. Zykin tries to go a little bit deeper into that corner to hold that inside line into final corner. That's going to be position gain definitely for Zykin. He's up to 11th now. And Mendel is getting closer to Kirches, so the battle continues with 5 minutes on the clock. We're still uncertain who's going to finish where. Svetins and...
I think that's going to be contact a little bit. I thought he was going to turn him into a spin. He didn't. And Zykin now up to 11, so holding 11th. He's got to catch up to those cars ahead. 4 minutes, 40 seconds to go. Lead is comfortable. Kutz in second. He might still be under pressure from Telianos if he does make a small mistake somewhere. But this is our main fight, that midfield battle. Radekis in 6th. I'm sure he wants to find a way past Jofert. They've completely lost contact from Bosniakov, who's safely in P4 at the moment. And here's Spef. A good recovery for Spef from where he started and into that crucial top 10. Mendel is holding on to 10th as well. Jofert under pressure from Radekis, who gives him a little nudge on the exit. That's going to give enough of an overspeed into the penultimate corner, and actually even before Radekis gets past. And now Jofert under pressure from Meshkalis, who tried to get through. Bit of contact into the rear once again. Meshkalis putting in a block into that final corner. 3.5 minutes to go in this one, as the drivers continue battling on. Zykin a second back from Mendelis, and I think that's Mendelis trying to go down. Oh, was there contact? I think there was a little bit. Yes, there was, because Meshkalis loses out now down to 9th, as Mendelis will try and go down the inside, which turns to the outside. Again, more contact between them, and Zykin. Now Mendelis under pressure from Zykin behind. Actually, from Zykin to his side, but Mendelis can give him a little nudge to the exit here. Svetin's off the road. Mendelis kept it clean, and I think he's going to keep the position at least for now. So holds on to that crucial P10. A drop of position, and race 2 is almost ruined for you. But they catch back up to this battling group of cars. Spef has dropped time to Jofert. That was that contact with Meshkalis. And oh, down the inside, somebody, that was Kirsis, who tried it. A little wide from Zykin, at least I saw in the background. So the groups have split up. Jofert has lost touch with Radekis, but I don't think Radekis is going to catch up to P4. As Spef still trying to hold that position, gets a nudge in the back, and actually, well, Kirchis couldn't get through. Thought that nudge would have been enough. 2 laps to go in race number 1. Still a big, big battle for we're now looking at the battle for P7. It's a big train of cars.
Close battles all over the track, and the main battle definitely now for the pole position for the second race. Zaikin right on the tail of Mendelis. He has all the chances to finish off 10th. Mendelis tries to hold on, and if as you said, we'll have 2 laps in this race, so this is the penultimate lap. Still plenty of opportunities, though they are melting for Zaikin, the driver who started from pole and made the start a little bit earlier than the pack. Then he was allowed. He had to go into the pit lane for a drive-through penalty. Now he's trying to come back. He came out of the pit lane 13th. He's now up to 11th, right on the tail of Matas Mendelis. Mendelis 5/10 behind Meškelis. Still, a lot of things can change in that final lap. Drivers always tend to make moves in those final moments. So Zaikin just needs to hold on to the back end of Mendelis to try and wait for an opportunity, because to make a clean pass here is really difficult and challenging. Mendelis goes defensive into the penultimate corner. Zaikin will try to hold on to the outside line. He managed to make that move stick once. He will try to repeat it. Mendelis outbrakes himself a little bit.
He's still on the inside. He's still on the inside. And I don't think that was enough. Zaikin, though, gave him a nudge into that penultimate corner. I'm not sure that was 100% clean, as Zaikin blocks down into turn 1. Mendelis put in a block on the guy behind. That was Skeistkalns, and Mendelis is going to have a good line here. He's going to be on the inside into the chicane. No touch, but compromises the line for Zaikin. This is a straight now fight for P10. For that final pole position spot into race 2. Will Mendelis try and pull off a similar thing with a dump and run?
These two drivers battled for the win in the first LMP race, Lithuanian Motorsport Park race, where Zaikin took the win, I believe.
Sideways, I don't think Mendelis had a good exit there. He's now, I think, more under pressure from the car behind. He's definitely dropped off.
And suddenly the gaps grew bigger between the drivers. We don't have the drivers so close to each other anymore. So maybe the draft thing works here if you avoid mistakes. Well, just a couple of very close battles on the racetrack. Zaikin will definitely be able to hold on to that 10th place. And it was actually final lap. Juknevičius won the race, Kuts second, Talianos third, Podzniakov fourth, and we still have drivers battling. Meškelis 9th, and Zaikin should hold on to that 10th spot, which will turn into pole position. So double pole position for Zaikin. Maybe that was a strategy of the driver to make that penalty and then finish 10th. He will definitely have more chances in the second race because, well, the driver closest to him theoretically will be the slightly slower driver that he had in the first race.
And to be fair, he's pretty much, unless he does another false start, he's pretty much the favorite for that second race.
It's no doubt about
it. It's still a lot of points lost, because I don't think that Juknevičius will finish down in 10th. So still points lost, and in the championship scheme of things, it's going to be more difficult for him. So race results, remember, these are provisional. They will be looked at after both races. Juknevičius takes the win ahead of Kuts, Tanianos, Pozdniakov, Žadeikis, Jofert, Spef, Kirsis, Meškelis, and Zaikin takes that 10th spot. Mendelis down in 11th, then it's Skeistkalns, Svetins, Sendersky, Straupe, Asp, Roga, Gavars, Dukas, Rekus, Malakauskas, Narbutas, Strubas, Halonen, and Thompsons down in 25th spot. Nobody lapped, so nobody retired from this first race, and we'll wait for the second race of the afternoon to get going. Juknevičius will be starting down in 10th.
Yep, I wonder if we'll have a 3 minutes wait time. We had to have it, so let's make a small break and we'll be back with the second race.
All my life been looking for it. I think I found something to help with easing the pain. This voice inside my head isn't dead. I think it's growing. Soon we will be one and the same. I've been going to the racetrack. Spent all my money on the dog in the bed. I put my heart into an 8-track. How about that? My life was perfect, now it's starting to crack. Oh no.
Back to the track. We get ready to go for race number 2 of this afternoon. 5 seconds to go until we go green. It's another 20 minutes, and Zykin on pole position as we're green for race number 2. And Zykin this time really tried to not jump the start, and now he got jumped and all the way down to P3. Let's see if he drops any more positions down into turn 1. It's Meškanis versus Kirsis into turn 1, and I think Meškanis survived that one.
No, I think that's Kirshis who gone through into P1.
Kirshis went into the lead, and Jofert now up into P3 at least. He's battling for P2. Radikis in 6th. He's gone ahead of Pozniakov. Somebody really sideways as Radikis holds on to 6th. He's got a bit of... Oh, somebody was slow on the apex there. That's for sure 5th for Radikis now. Zykin dropping places, 9th.
Yep.
Down to 9th, so all the way from the lead. It's not gone well for him, as Juknavicius is in 9th now, Zykin in 8th, Juknavicius to the outside here.
It's actually 7th because we have Halonen back into the pits and he's been displayed as the leader of this race. As soon as the drivers will cross that start-finish line, that will change. How many cars are wanting to...
Oh, and Juknavicius spun round, but no, he's been corrected back by somebody hitting him. But Juknavicius now down to 11th. Where's Kutz? Kutz is in 6th, so he's in a very good spot here. Could try... actually, 5th. Juknavicius then is in 9th because of that stopped car. Juknavicius will have to try and get through the pack. Good news for him, though, is that Zykin, who I guess he looks at probably his main championship opponent, is all the way down in 7th and close to him, just a car between them. Well, fastest lap of the race kind of doesn't matter here, as Pozniakov under pressure from Zykin, who tries to go down the inside, and I think he'll make the move, stick into that chicane. He does, and chops across the front, so up into P6. But Kutz, who was second in race 1, is all the way up in 5th. You can now just in 9th, Zykin a little bit wide. Oh, you can now just to the inside. He's trying to get past Tanianos as they're side by side through this S section. Still side by side, but he won't have that. Oh, very, very wide there. And has he gone through? He has. He can now just get past. So up into P8 he goes. More contact for Tanianos as he's battling to stay in that top 10. Very late on the brakes. I thought he was going to hit him. Mendelis in 13th. Really not looking good for him.
It's really a difficult race with these identical cars who have identical setups for the race, so only the driver matters, and the pace is so similar from everyone, so that a tiniest mistake, like 3 meter later braking mark, can cost you not one but a couple of positions. When the drivers are so close, they want that place as soon as possible. You have to be extra careful and extra precise here to survive in those top places. Koots sets the fastest lap time. That's Keistkalns in the battle for P11. Mendelis is right behind. Kirs is half a second in front of Jofert. Meškelis tries to hold on to that P3. Žadeikis tries to chase him down. Now we have Koots and Zaikin behind. Juknavicius up to P8. He's already thinking about a move to P6. 4 tenths behind Pozniakov, as we are still looking into this 4-car battle now for P11. Speth currently 11th, Keistkalns behind Mendelis and Rekus. Drivers are definitely interested in that spot. You want to finish as high as possible, even in the race which is not going as planned. Juknavicius to the inside, an easy move for Juknavicius actually. Straupe drive-through penalty for cutting. Juknavicius didn't have a great start. He's recovering nicely now. He started 10th. Was in a little bit of a contact, and Straupe out of the race. Juknavicius,
it was a good start. He was up into 7th early, and then had that contact, dropped back down. I think he's got at least a little bit of damage. No, maybe not. Maybe it's pretty clean, but he lost time there. Is recovering. Koots still not able to move further in front. It's quite interesting. You don't often see it. I guess the drivers are quite well matched, that there isn't that big of a gap between them. Would have to make some calculations where exactly they would all end up in after this event. It's 40 points for a win. I think still Juknavicius is safe-ish as the leader of the event overall. I think that's Koots going down the inside of Žadeikis. Will there be contact? It's super duper close. A little bit of contact shoves him out wide and gets the position up into P4. Still more than half the race to go. It's been a good drive for him so far. Juknavicius, though, has really closed up on Zaikin, which is strange, seeing how quick he was at the start of the race, at the start of race 1 and in qualifying. But clearly in traffic, doesn't look as quick. Jofert and then Koots now fastest lap of the race, as they all run back down to turn 1. Jofert is close to Kirsis in front.
Yep, and Koots managed to put in that fastest lap time even when he was in a battle with Žadeikis. Now he's pulling away quite fast. 7 tenths ahead already. Meškelis will try to hold on. It's now 1 second between Meškelis and Koots. Calculations should be made which driver will win this race. Koots finished 2nd in the first race. Juknavicius first. Now Koots runs 4th. Juknavicius currently 7th.
That would still go to Juknavicius.
Okay, so a big gap. Yep, it is a 10-point difference between P1 and P2, and it is only 3 points difference, 4 points difference between P4 and P7. So you are definitely aiming for high finishing spots here in this championship, because you have a nice big margin if you finish in top 3 places.
now would actually be Kirsis in second, I believe. If Jofert can get past him, he would lead for now. I think Ignatius and Zykin were side by side, or at least close to that, because the gap had dropped to 0.0 something, as Ignatius now tries the outside down into turn 1.
Ooh, nice
Switch
switchback.
back to the inside. Will he have the space? He does, and gets the position, and actually gives a little bit of a shove to Zykin, who loses a position as another position, so down to 8th. For Ignatius, good news for him. If Jofert were to win the race, he would now be tied on points, and Talianos, to the inside goes Zykin.
Yep, he lost those 2 places, then tried to get back. Taliano still stayed in front, so Talianos jammed 2 cars in a couple of corners. He was behind Pozdnyakov when this gaggle started, and Zykin was forced slightly off the track. I'm pretty sure referees will have a look at it. I'm not sure if there was something too big in that move. Juknavicius made a really nice switchback into first corner. That's Zykin overtaken Talianos, and look how much slower the cars become when they start battling. That's Speth and Svetins behind these, also swapping places. The gaps go down straight away when the drivers begin driving side by side through a couple of corners. Kuts gaining on Meškelis. Meškelis actually gaining a little bit on Jofert, so that battle for the win is definitely not done yet in the second race. 10 minutes on the clock, nobody feels safe here. Tiniest mistake can make a big difference in the results. Juknavicius now clear here. He tries to chase down Žadeikis for P5, but as soon as those first four runners come closer to each other, things might change. Juknavicius is definitely much faster than Žadeikis. Gap is already less than 1 second. One of the fastest one of the fastest simulator drivers. Juknavicius looking for the win in the opening round. Has experience racing karts, and I think that's where the nice move came into turn 1. Nice strategy, outsmarting your rival. And he's going to try to use his experience on Edvinas Žadeikis, another driver who has plenty of experience racing real cars. Not finding the best rhythm here this evening. He's running 5th. That's quite a good result, but I'm pretty sure Žadeikis...
You're up in front. Kuts getting very, very close. He's been setting, at least he's been the fastest car out on track for many laps now. He's really found some pace in this second race. He's now challenging for that final podium spot, and if he can get forward, he might come out of this weekend as the championship leader. Down into turn 1. He needs to dispatch these cars quickly. Remember, he finished second in race 1, so he started in 9th. He's already up to 4th and moving forward. Has that pace.
Yep, he does. He does have the pace. Yep, he does have the pace because the fastest lap time of the second race belongs to him, so he definitely knows his way around this circuit, and he's definitely a threat not only for Meškelis but also for Jofert and Kirsis, because the gap is becoming tinier and tinier between the 4 leaders. And remember, Juknavicius also on a good rhythm here. 6/10 between himself and Žadeikis. The biggest question is, will there be enough time for position swaps? But if Kuts thinks about something here, and maybe Jofert also will try to make a move on Kirsis, the gaps will definitely go down quite fast. And we might see this.
Do something quick. He really needs to do something quick. Clock is running out for him. And if he gets stuck behind, it's just going to become more and more difficult to overtake, as he'll just sit behind. Especially look at these front 2 cars. They've been stuck together at pretty much the same gap.
Yuknevicius made a
a
mistake.
while.
Yuknevicius made a mistake.
And
Gap.
down to 7th.
Nope, it's not down to
No,
7th. That's Gavaras into the pit lane. But Yuknevicius lost out to Edvinas Žadeikis on this final lap. It was...
Lost a second.
Yep.
Second-ish, at least compared to his previous laps. So something happened to him.
Well, it is 3/10 though. Yep, interesting.
3/10 to Žadeikis, but I'm just looking at his previous laps of the race. So he lost about a second to what his pace was previously. Whether that lap was on that pace, probably not. But here is Kuts trying to put pressure on Meškelis. It's the closest he's been so far. He might try a move into here, and he does down the inside. Oh, big shove there, and gets the position. And I think that kind of says enough, because he shoves him out the way. And I don't think well, maybe Meškelis might try and come back at him after a move like that. He doesn't, and Kuts up into that final podium spot, but he out-braked himself.
Yep, and Meškelis doesn't use the knowledge that he can gather here through the races. Well, Kuts showed how it's done. You have to be aggressive. You just have to go into that later braking rhythm when going for a move, and will just make that
smack in the back. Gets a push in the rear, but has to stay behind. Couldn't find the way past, and now that Kuts is on the inside for that final turn. Actually, I think Meškelis might try and go to the outside down into turn 1. He's really trying to battle him hard. And that's letting the leaders escape and letting the cars behind close up as well. It's kind of counterproductive here for Meškelis. Because now he's got Žadeikis and Yuknevicius behind him, who will try and overtake him as well.
That's the cost of these battles. Yeah, that's the cost of the battles. When you are in these close battles, you're definitely pulling the rear runners closer to you. This is going to be a chance for Žadeikis because he has the threat from behind. But this is good news for Edvinas. He might win something here out of the two drivers battling in front. Of course, the biggest winner can be Yuknevicius in this battle, and his main rival Kuts, who is now his main rival for the win in the opening round, is right up there. And that's going to be a four-car battle. Definitely Meškelis is still really close to Kuts, but doesn't find a way to overtake him. Kuts has the pace advantage, and that's not enough for Meškelis. Even though the pace is so similar between the drivers, it's not enough. And what about Yuknevicius? 0.2 of a second behind Žadeikis. Žadeikis either will go defensive or will become a little bit more aggressive. He's right on the tail of Meškelis, with all the chances to gain one spot. Taliano's getting closer to Zaikin, or it's that Zaikin pulling away, but no chance for Zaikin here in the second race to reach that win. Two bad starts for Zaikin took the opportunity to fight for the win in this opening round of the E-BaTCC Championship. What can Yuknevicius do here? Still 3 minutes on the clock, still time enough for Yuknevicius to make those moves, but it looks like it's a little bit harder now when he chased down those slightly faster rivals to make and find the good move on the track. Žadeikis is definitely a very experienced driver, knows his way around, so it's not going to be that easy for Yuknevicius. The battle for the win is gone for these drivers. Kuts is already 2.2 seconds behind Jofert. Kirs is finding a nice rhythm in the lead, and I think he's on the right foot here to finish the race in P1 and get those 40 points. What about Yuknevicius and Žadeikis? This is the closest battle of them all in the top 10 spots, and that's really important. Every position gained gives you an advantage throughout the championship, so everyone wants to finish as high as possible. This opening round promises us a very nice championship. We'll have the Bikerniek racetrack We'll have Parnu and we'll have Nemuno Žiedas, so other tracks will have other opportunities on the table for different drivers. And this is the battle of the Titans. Definitely everyone in top 10 places deserve a win here. Look at the gaps. Even though the drivers are in such intense battles, they are still managing to keep those gaps quite small in between. And Juknevičius is not finding a way yet. 1 minute 45 on the clock. Is this the penultimate lap? I believe it is. It's not the final lap. Oh, look, Kirsis made a mistake.
Kirsis now under big pressure. Koots is loving this from behind. He's saying, battle more, please, as Kirsis slides again. He's feeling that pressure from Jofert behind, and this is a big battle for the lead of the race and maximum points here. Jofert trying now outside. He'll try and get the exit on to the back straightaway. And Kirsis will probably put in some kind of defense into the braking zone. No, because he didn't need to, didn't have that much pressure from behind, but goes a little bit wide on exit, slides around, and behind they're catching up, and that's the whole group of cars catching up. See what happens into that final lap. Into the penultimate corner they go. No opportunity for Jofert just yet. But he's now definitely putting in much more pressure than he was before. And it's going to be one more to go here in round number 1.
Nice.
And that gap has actually increased a little bit, so it's a little bit more calm for him. Juknevičius, though, on the back of Žadeikis. Kind of stuck here. No real... Oh, getting very close. Can he find a way through somewhere? He doesn't have to be desperate, knowing where other cars are positioned here. I'm sure he wouldn't want to get a penalty as he goes to the inside, but I think it's not going to be a good line through here. Žadeikis pushes him out wide, but no, that wasn't enough as they're still side by side. Žadeikis has the better line into the braking zone here. Keeps P5, but big slide. And now on the exit, actually, they've got Zaikin behind as well, who might try and do something here. So Juknevičius has to look behind and look forward. Zaikin goes to the inside. I think they're going to have a little bit of contact, still side by side. Will Žadeikis hold on to that position? Looks like he will, at least for now. Breathing room. Juknevičius held on to that position. Breathing room for Žadeikis up in front for the lead, and nothing changes into that.
Oh, contact
corner.
between
Jofert the rear. He went into the rear, but he stayed behind. He did the sportsman thing here, but Koots, he wants that position. Can he find something? It will be a drag race down into the line, and no position switch. Kirsis takes the win ahead of Jofert, Koots, Meškenis, Žadeikis, Juknevičius, Zaikin, Talianos, Pozniakov, and Spef down in P10.
Side by side, Riekus and Skaistkaunts had a nice drag race. Malakauskas having a calm finish. What a race and what an opening round for the 7th, I believe, E-BaTCC Championship drivers still battling it out. Out of the final corner, Gavaras will be the last driver to cross that line, but wow, you couldn't expect a better race for the opening round, and this is a very nice insight of what the races will look on the real Lithuanian Motorsports Park. I heard that we should have the track ready for first runs in around 1 year's time. I'm so eagerly waiting for it. A very nice, a huge project on the way, not only offering a racetrack for cars, it will have a place for drift cars, and a kart circuit. Hopefully this will see the day of the light, but let's go through the final results of the second race now, which was, wow, more than intense.
So Kirsis takes the win ahead of Jofert, Kutz, Meshkanas, Radekis, Juknavichus, Saikin, Talianos, Pozniakov, and Spef in 10th. Then it's Svetens, Mendelis, Rekus, Skaistkalns, Malakauskas, Senderski, Asp, Narbutas, Edukas, Strubas, Thompsons, Roga, Kavars, Straupe, and Halonen. Those last 3 did not take the finish. So that is your round 1 in 2 weeks' time. We're heading to Latvia and the Bikernieki circuit for that second round of the championship. And once the results are finalized, you will be able to have a look on worldsimseries.com, the standings, and also on the social media channels of both World Sim Series and the E-BaTCC. And if you want to join the championship, you've still got time. You can join the other races. Again, worldsimseries.com, and you can sign up. And that's it from us for tonight. Remember that the 12 hours of Sebring on World Sim Series are on Saturday, so make sure you join us for that one as well. But for tonight, it's good night.
I've been looking for it. I think I found something to help with easing the pain.